What's up, guys? Hope you all are doing well. And today I am joined by Austin Andrade. Austin won the Shaw Classic Open last year, which guaranteed him his spot in the strongest man on earth this year in 2024. So we are talking about strongest man on earth at the Shaw Classic, August 17th and 18th. The weeks and days are flying by, man, and the contest is coming. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. It's crazy how fast it's rolling up, that's for sure.
Awesome, man. So as you have gone along with your prep here, how have the events gone? Are there events that you're excited about? Are there events that you're nervous about? Like how are you feeling overall? I mean, at this point in the prep, because as you start to build up and weight and you start to get closer, things start to get more real.
Hmm.
And it's you're testing yourself out, right, against the limit,
Yeah.
what you're going to perform. So how are you feeling with the events?
With the event, I feel great with the events. I guess the only one that I'm not too like excited about is the keg throw because I'm just not um I mean I don't really that's not like my forte or anything like that. I'm a big static strong guy. So honestly everything else I'm super excited about. The squat, both pressing events, the deadlift. I mean, my name's been coming up a lot on that already, so that's kind of like one of those things. You pull 430 kilos raw in England, and next thing you know, your name's everywhere.
100%, man. I mean, that's so let's jump into the deadlift a little bit, right? So this event, no suits, regular straps. So everybody's going to be on a very level playing field. It's not, suit dependent or how does your suit fit, any of that stuff. So
Hmm.
this is just a raw, straight up and down who's stronger, right? And
Hmm.
I love that. It's the reason that the event is happening is I wanted to see that. I wanted to see that my entire career, really, to see that implemented. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how it shakes out and fascinating to see who does what. So,
Yeah.
how are you feeling going into it? And what are your expectations? Let's put it that way.
My expectations anytime I compete is always do better than I've done before. So, um, you know, I'm just going in there. I pulled 430 last year. Let's pull something bigger this year. At the same time, I don't like to put like crazy numbers on me because in my eyes, lifting is an art form, and you know it's not always going to be an exact science. So you could do all the percentages and this and that and time yourself out, and it's not always going to end up that way. So you know, I'm going to prepare myself the best I can. So when I roll up August 17th, I got a big pony one. Um, but no, I training well along with the other events because everything else is so heavy too. It's like you don't want to go too crazy on one event because then you're just gonna kind of beat yourself up for the other ones too. So we've been kind of taking it easy in terms of like how often we deadlift or kind of pushing weight, but we're just I want to show up healthy, and if I show up healthy, then big good things are gonna happen. So
100%, man. Now, the format with calling your own weights on the deadlift, do you think that is going to open the door up for you to call a weight? Because you're saying more than 430 kilos, which I think is roughly 952
nine
pounds.
948.265. I don't
There you
know.
go, 948. So that's the touch off. So I mean, for you, you're going to be able to call your weight, right? So
Mhm.
obviously, it'll be dependent on what some of the other guys do and that type of
Mhm.
thing. But with that type of power, if you can get above 950, I really feel like there's some good points on the board there.
Mhm.
And then obviously that kind of 1,000 pound pull is out there
Yeah.
raw. I mean, I think that's something you've got to be thinking about at least a
Oh,
little.
for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, regardless of the show, to pull 1,000 pounds is, monumental, and that's a goal, lifetime goal, anyways. And if I'm able to do it at this show, then you best believe it, I'm gonna go for it.
I love it.
Um, but I think this is it's kind of you know, it is a different format to what I guess, you know, strongman's used to because, and I mean when I did pull the 430, it was the second attempt. I pulled the 880, which was a PR at the time, and then I rolled up and I didn't, you know, you don't ask what the weight is, so you just go and pull whatever. But I do have total confidence in my coach, Tim Ingram, and my training partner. To you know, my training partner is going to be competing open, so he'll be there, and you know they'll see how I'm lifting that day. And I'm going to leave it up to them in terms of call numbers because, like I said, I'm there to have fun. I'm there to pull something big, and you know it's whatever they got on the paper for me. That's what I'll do.
No, it's critical. You know, it's great that you say that because when you have somebody that's watched you lift through your preparation, they'll be able to tell for you how hard a lift looks, how it looks, how you execute it.
Mhm.
And, you know, a lot of times, and I fully expect this to happen, you're probably going to walk out to whatever your opener is, and you're gonna lift it so easily that you're gonna walk back and say to Tim, hey, how did it look? Right? Like it just
Yeah.
happened so quick, and I like you have so much adrenaline. And I
Hmm.
oftentimes would do that in a contest and have somebody, I typically would have somebody take a video of it so I could see it. But also
Hmm.
the guy that was with me, I put a lot of trust in to
Hmm.
say, hey, look, what's the next weight? Right. And then if you trust somebody in your corner like that, they're going to say, hey, you can do this. And it almost boosts your confidence as
Oh,
well.
it's everything. It's everything. Yeah, it's everything.
That's
But
exciting. Well, I tell you what, man, I think that you can shake some things up right off the bat with the deadlift. You know, I'm looking forward to
yeah.
that. I know you mentioned the squat as well, right? And
Hmm.
I feel like this is a new one that we don't really know how it's going to play out. So you seem like a guy that could squat some weight though. So I'm sure you're excited about that. How's that prep been going?
Same thing with the deadlift. We're just trying to like, you know, plan everything out to we're not beating ourselves up on one thing or another. But you know, it this will be my first time I've ever done a squat event in any strongman show. So no better place to do it than strongest man on earth. Against the best dudes in the world too, right? So you know, we're that's the other thing too is we don't know exactly the setup. I mean, you've given us the best kind of information in terms of how to set up for it. But at the end of the day, and that's what I love about strongman so much too, is like you could put calibrated plates, you're on this thing, you know, you have everything so dialed in, then you get to the show and you're like, what the heck? You know what I mean? So you know, I'm gonna come in strong. I'm gonna really, you know, I'm building my legs up to do you know, high reps on whatever weight it is. So you know, at the end of the day, we're just going to come in strong, and however the setup is, we're just that's what we're going to do, and that's you know that's what I love about it too is this you never know. So at the end of the day, the strongest is going to win, and just be strong.
That's 100%, man. And I think that, you know, for you, this is kind of I would say a big coming out party, right? Like this is a huge stage, you know, for you.
Mhm.
And, you know, aesthetically, like you said, people have seen you do some big lifts and do some big things. And walking into this, I think that the stage is really set for you to kind of shake some leaderboards up, right? Like
Mhm.
in certain events. And, you know, I know that, you know, we're talking squat deadlift. You mentioned the presses as well, right? So
Mhm.
how are you feeling with those? Because the overhead medley with the log and axle combination is a little bit different, and then obviously the circus dumbbell event is going to be a progressive load with those. So you know what are your expectations on both of those events?
Well, to finish them, for sure.
I like
You know,
that. I like that.
I love how heavy it is. Like that's the other thing too is like you have a set number of reps, so it's not like an AMRAP or anything where I know I'm gonna have to get into some kind of CrossFit level of my conditioning. Um, you know, I know there's 5 reps. I know there's you know there's 5 reps on the dumbbell. Is there five just to make sure 5 on the dumbbell? So I just got to be ready for that, you know,
That five.
and no matter what weights on the bar, yeah. So no matter what weights on the bar, like as long as I'm as strong as I possibly can, you know, for 5 reps, then there's no reason why I can't finish any of them. So,
Well, I think, finishing both of those, and, we've had different conversations about how many potentially can finish, especially with the log and axle
mhm,
medley. So I think if you finish, you're going to secure some very good points in that event, because I think, the kind of thought process, at least when I was talking to Lawrence and Terry and Jerry about it a little bit, was that, I kind of expect, or we were all kind of saying, like, four, maybe around four guys finish that log and axle medley, but
mhm,
maybe there can be more, right? But if you're in one of those four, that's
yeah,
huge points in that event. And it would be a chance for you to put your overhead press power on display.
for sure. And that's what I love, especially coming, being the open, the winner of the open last year. I'm kind of, I am that exactly where I love to be anyway. I mean, that's what happened when I rolled up in the World's Strongest Man, making the finals there too in my first year. So it's like, people like, can he do good? Can he's showed power before, and that's where I like to be, because when people are questioning me, when people question me, I love to prove people right, and I love to prove people wrong too. So, I think there's no, and then, well, we got the 16 strongest dudes in the world. Um, I think I've proven myself as being one of those guys too. Regardless of winning the Open last year, just secured my invitation a little bit earlier than these guys. But I'm just excited for it. It's another opportunity for me to show my strength. That's why I love doing the Open last year, because, or the last 2 years, is like, here's this like pro-am style show where you got, it's open. So you got some pros, you got, the top amateurs in the United States or anywhere else in the world. And the weights are legit, it's, you're not going to go anywhere. And, it's like you said, it's for the athletes, ran by the athletes. So it's, everything's legit. So, you were going to go into the open, like, it's going to be a heavy show. It's going to tax you, you know, uh, mentally, physically, emotionally, and then there's going to be the best dudes coming to it, regardless whether it's the pro or the open. And so that was a great opportunity for me to come out and show my strength. And then I'm getting the invite to the pro show. So now it's like I have an opportunity now to show that strength amongst all, that are solidified as the best in the world. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I feel so blessed, and I'm just super excited for it.
100%, man. So for you walking into this contest, do you have a expectation for yourself as far as overall finish? Like, what is your, obviously, I think that, everybody should want to walk in and win,
Mhm,
right? But
mhm.
like, walking into the contest based on the competitor list, like, you right now, what would be your end? Like, all right, I got my job done if I finished in this position, or, what are you
Yeah.
thinking in your head? Like, what's your expectation for yourself?
So every year I write down goals. And since I got my invitation in 2023, Strongest Man on Earth was on that goal list of goals, and I have top five written right next to it.
I love
I feel I feel like top five is doable for sure. I think it's a challenge as well, given the roster. But I mean, I wouldn't do the sport if I didn't have to push myself. So, I think that's on the lowest of my expectation. I definitely want to do a lot better. I want to be on that podium again. That's definitely the athlete in me. I hate not being on the podium. Um, it bugs the crap out of me, especially at Worlds taking seventh. And you're looking at the podium right there, and you're like, man, it's so close. So, that's also, the last couple months has been eating at me too. So, I got another opportunity to go against the same guys that were in the finals there. So, that's what I'm shooting for.
Well, I tell you what, you're gonna get tested along with all these other guys in a whole different format, and
Hmm.
also with bigger weights, right? So, this is
Hmm.
this is the time. The rubber is going to meet the road for sure, and the strongest is going to prevail. And that's what I love, right? Like it needs to be about strength. It needs to be about power. And you know, when you go in after 8 events with this lineup of 16, I tell you what, man, if you're top five or you're standing on that podium, I'm going to be very, very happy for you, man. I know you're putting in a lot of hard work, and you know, uh, you know, from what I have seen from the outside, man, your prep looks like it's going well. You've got a good team around you to push you, and you know, in the coming weeks here, that's really the time where you get to separate out, right? Like it's who's
Mhm,
willing to put in that hard work when you're a little bit tired, a
mhm.
little bit sore, you know, all that. Like that's a separating time. So, you know, I wish you all the best, man, with your prep. I'm excited to see you. I know there's a lot of people excited to see what you can do, and when you step out there, I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans rooting for you as well, buddy. So, thank you for taking the time today. Hope your training continues to go great, man, and the buildup goes great. And we will see you August 17th and 18th at the Strongest Man on Earth.
I appreciate it, B. Thanks.
You got it, brother.